Coming up on BG24 Sports, hockey had a big weekend at home against Lake Superior State, along with men's basketball who took it up north to Toledo.
Plus, the swim and dive looking at a possible MAC title. All this and more coming up right here on BG24 Sports.
It's un-Falcon believable coverage that you won't get anywhere else. This is BG24 Sports.
Welcome to BG24 Sports. I'm Katie Warnke.
And I'm Terry Lash. It had been 2 long months since Bowling Green laced up their skates and took center stage at the ice arena. They were back home this weekend. The Falcon hockey team came into Friday's match against Lake Superior State, ranked 6th in the nation. But the Falcons, they came off to a slow start as the Lakers were able to get on the board first on a Bryce Schmidt goal that was set up for the one-timer right here in that back left corner. It was a physical contest throughout the evening, and the Falcons couldn't solve the Rubik's Cube that was goaltender Gordon Dayfield. Dayfield stopped 30 of the Falcons' 31 shots using a barrage of body parts, pads, and sticks to stifle the Falcons. The Falcons' lone goal came on a putback from Kevin Dufour. It was Dufour's 11th goal of the season, and after his goal, the Bleacher Creatures came alive. But the Lakers put the nail in the coffin in the second period when Steven Profeta went 5-hole and put the Lakers up by a winning score of 3-1.
We didn't play well. They played really well, and they took advantage. Because after those turnovers or whatever it is, when you compete for a puck, you still have to make a play, and they did that. They made a play on the second goal for sure. Oh, they made a play on the first goal. I mean, we had pucks on our stick in all 3 of their goals, and the turnover was created, and they executed, and the puck ended up in our net. Full marks to them.
We just need to be better. That's all there is to it. We need to play our style of game. We need to get pucks in deep. We need to turn their D around. Get in on the forecheck, you know, that's what makes us a good team. That's how we got here, and unfortunately when we don't do that, we get results like we get tonight.
Bowling Green came into the contest against Lake Superior State ranked 3rd in the WCHA. LSS came in dead last. Lake Superior State not having a great season but beating the Falcons on Friday. Katie, what happened to the Falcon hockey team on Friday night?
On Friday, you can look to their offense. When you only have one man scoring goals, Kevin Dufour, granted that was his 11th on the season, so he is a powerful player for the Falcons, but he cannot carry the whole team. When you only have one man scoring goals, that's not going to get it done.
Also, the Falcons in the box almost the entire game. 5 penalties, 18 minutes total in the box. The Falcons did not do a good job of staying on the ice. And like you mentioned, you got to talk about the goaltending of Chris Nell and Gordon Dayfield of Lake Superior State with his 30 saves on 31 attempts. He had a phenomenal outing. There's no doubt about it.
Absolutely. Now, the difference between Friday and Saturday, though, I would say is the goalies. When you have Chris Nell, who gave up 3 goals on Friday, then you look to Tommy Burke on Saturday, and he only gave up 1 goal. He was 26 for 27. That is outstanding goaltending, and that was the difference between Friday and Saturday.
You're right, big difference. Falcons getting a 3-1 victory on Saturday. Also, Falcons finishing up their points. This time, whenever they got close to the net, the Falcons did a good job of making sure they got past Dayfield on Saturday night, which they could not do on Friday. So the Falcon offense looking a lot better.
Absolutely. You had 3 different guys score on Saturday as well. You had Ben Murphy, who leads the team in power play goals with 4. So when you do mix up the rotation and you get some more guys in there scoring, that's going to make a big difference. Now, if we look at their upcoming schedule, though, they do have some tough teams coming up. They go to Bemidji State next weekend, and then they have 2 weekends against Ferris State.
And Ferris State now number 4 in the WCHA standings. Bemidji State had a huge weekend, beating former number 1 Minnesota State and Minnesota, knocking them out of the USCHA top 20 poll. So 6 really tough games coming up for the Falcons. We'll see what this team is made of.
Absolutely, but they did take on Bemidji earlier in November, and they did sweep them. But looking at Ferris State, they play Ferris State at home, and then they go to Ferris State. So it's a big travel weekend the next weekend right after playing them at home. And in order to stay atop of those rankings in the USCHO poll and possibly moving up more, they really need to win all 6 of those games.
Especially those 4 against Ferris State. You're going to become really familiar with your opponent when you play again and again and again and again. But I think the Falcons have what it takes to do it. So it's going to be a really interesting 6-game stretch, but this is what's going to prove the mettle of the Falcon team.
Absolutely.
And when we come back, we'll take a look at how basketball fared this weekend against Toledo.
Welcome back. Bowling Green went up I-75 for a little rivalry game on Saturday. Head coach Chris Jans looking for his first win against Toledo with the Falcons. Now in the first half, Anthony Henderson with the steal. Let me just take that and finish it. 2 points for the Falcons. This one back and forth all game. One guy for Toledo you don't want to leave open. Who is that? Oh yeah, that's right, it's this guy. Julius Juice Brown with the jumper. He would score 28 points for UT, sending chills down the spines of Falcon fans everywhere. But have no fear, Javon Austin is here. He runs through the forest of Rockets to take two. This game goes neck and neck until the very end. But there is another Rocket you have to watch out for, and that is Justin Drummond. Rockets prevail, taking down the Falcons in a close one, 67-71.
You know, it's tough. It's part of basketball. You gotta, when you have opportunities, you gotta stick it in the square and put it through the net. And you just gotta move on to the next play and hopefully get another opportunity to do that. And we did. Just like I said, we couldn't make a key shot. You know, we couldn't turn that tide, and we had ample opportunities to do that, but we were never able to accomplish it.
Just, you know, gotta keep getting better. You know, go back to the drawing board and practice, and get ready for the quick turnaround Tuesday. You know, we don't really have time to think too much about this one, which can be a good thing. You know, we right back in action Tuesday, so we have to get ready for that.
Now, Terry, when we talk about Toledo, you have to talk about Juice and Drum. Two of the leading, or they are the leading scorers for Toledo in this Bowling Green game. Julius Brown and Justin Drummond. They were outstanding against Bowling Green.
Absolutely right. You got to look at the stats right here. Julius Brown, Juice Brown with 28 points, and Justin Drummond with 18. These are two guys that the Falcons knew going into this game that they had to stop, and they just couldn't do so. And that's why the Rockets got the victory over the Falcons.
Absolutely. 28 points. That is incredible. That's almost half of the Falcons' points being scored. But when you look at the Falcons then, too, the scoring was sort of all over the board. You didn't have one scorer that really took hold for the Falcons.
One thing that we've noticed with this Bowling Green basketball team this year is that there isn't one scorer. There has been a caveat of players. Rashawn Holmes has normally led the charge, but there has been that one guy that is really taking over a game at this point. It just hasn't happened. I don't know if the Falcons need it. They've been pretty successful this year, but in a big game against Toledo, no one knew who they're going to go to down the stretch, and maybe that hurt them a little bit.
Absolutely. If you look at some of the leading scorers for the Falcons, it was Rashawn Holmes with 14 points, and then Jovan Austin with 13, and Javon Clark with 12. But, there were no 28-point scorers or 18-point scorers. No one took that lead, and when you don't have that sort of leadership on the court, that one go-to guy, I know it's a team effort, but you need that one man to look to so you can get those points done.
Right, when you call a timeout 30 seconds to go, you want to have one guy that's going to come up with a clutch bucket. I don't know if Bowling Green has it, and that might hurt them going down the season.
It definitely hurt them against Toledo. But if we
Absolutely
look
right.
at their upcoming game on Tuesday against Northern Illinois, we take a look at some of the stats. They're sort of close. They're rather actually pretty close all across the board.
You're absolutely right, and Bowling Green, one of the best teams in the nation at points allowed per game. 23rd with the points against, only allowing 58.8 points per game. They're going to have to rely on another dominating defensive performance if they want to get the victory over the Huskies. Another big key here, look at the assist to turnover ratio differential, almost double Falcons from Huskies. The Huskies will turn over the basketball. The Falcons have to take advantage of that and make those steals turn into points.
They absolutely do, especially when you look at the average points per game. They are so close that you're going to need to take those opportunities and really pronounce on them and move forward with them to get those points on the board to take the win.
You're absolutely right, Katie, and this is a game that the Falcons need. Northern Illinois is down a little bit in the MAC standings. Bowling Green had a shot at being tied for first, but they lost to Toledo. But this is the kind of game that the Falcons need. They have not lost back-to-back games all season long, so this is a big one right here against the Huskies.
I think it's good that it will be at home, too, maybe back on the home court after losing in Savage Arena. They can finally sort of get back on it and maybe take a win. So.
Absolutely. Get the momentum back going in the Stro.
Absolutely. Now, after the break, swim and dive remains undefeated this season. We'll talk about the women's chances at a MAC title. Now, Bowling Green Swimming had an outstanding meet on Friday. They took down defending MAC champion Akron. Now, Terry, this was a really good meet for Bowling Green to take. You know, defending MAC champions, like I said, they were very tough last season, but Bowling Green took the win. It was sort of a close win, but they're undefeated so far in the season still.
You said it best, Katie. Still undefeated in the pool. You got the victories from Daniela Carrillo, Natalie Criswell, Tara Capuch, and Victoria Griffin in that contest. So big wins for the Falcons there that led them over the Akron Zips.
Absolutely. We also had a win from Francesca Wohlert, who is actually a newcomer to this Falcon team. She's from Germany. She joined the team over break. So she's had a few individual wins for the Falcons, which has really helped them out. And when we look at Natalie Criswell, you mentioned she had an individual win. She won in the 1,000 freestyle race, and she beat her previous record by 3 seconds.
Wow.
So she beat the opponents by a few seconds as well, and it was a really good race for her. And it's nice to see that the Falcons have numerous people that they can look to when it comes to MACs, because that is a 4-day meet. And when you have numerous swimmers that you can count on for winning these events, it's really going to help them out in the long run.
And swimming is one of those sports that doesn't get a lot of recognition in the Bowling Green, like public spotlight for sports. But they have some shining stars in the pool. One of those is Victoria Griffin. Katie, what has been so great about Victoria this season?
Victoria she's dominating in the 50-meter freestyle, the 100-yard freestyle, and then the 200 as well. She is ranked first in the MAC in the 100-yard freestyle, and second in the MAC in the 50-yard freestyle. She's also undefeated in the 50 still so far. So she is a very strong swimmer for the Falcons. She won her 3rd MAC Swimmer of the Week this week. But one thing with Victoria is she is a sophomore, so she is still working on that mental aspect of the racing. And we saw 2 weeks ago when the Falcons had a back-to-back meet on Friday and Saturday. It was late racing Friday, early racing on Saturday. She struggled in the 200-yard freestyle. She ended up finishing 7th or 8th in that race, and that's not her usual finish time. So she is struggling with the mental aspect, which she will have to work on for MACs, because that is a very grueling time. It's 4 days.
And a big matchup against the Bulls of Buffalo, a MAC, 2 undefeateds in the MAC. Buffalo also coming in that match at 8-0, so that's going to be very exciting. They're going to need Victoria to have a great outing there if they're going to want to stay undefeated in the pool.
Absolutely, and Buffalo ended up, they beat Michigan State. Bowling Green had a struggle against Michigan State. They still won, but it should be a very tough meet. It should be very exciting to watch. That one is next weekend at Buffalo. Now, when we come back, it is Around the Studio, a matchup between Terry and I. You will not want to miss it. Stay with us. Welcome back. It's time for Around the Studio. How this works, I pick a topic. There will be 60 seconds on the clock, and the best argument wins. Studio crew will be picking the winners today because it's a battle between the anchors. Terry's ready for it.
I've been
Terry
ready.
and I are going at it. Now, Terry, may the best anchor win. You ready for this?
I've been ready.
All right, to start it off, you know, Bowling Green hockey is ranked 6th in the nation. Will they win it all?
No, they will not win it all, Katie.
No.
I hate to be a Debbie Downer, but the Bowling Green Falcon hockey team does not have what it takes to win every single game from here on out or to win the national championship. They had that bad loss against Lake Superior State. It's their first really bad loss of the year. Coach Bergeron said it himself. He thought these losses were behind them. Clearly, they're not. They have a tough schedule right now, and even if they do play well down the stretch, make the WCHA tournament in a big seed.
You know what? Nope, I'm going to cut you off right there,
All
Terry.
right.
Michigan, or not Michigan, well, they have Michigan Tech. They've played Michigan Tech. They've played Minnesota State. They've played Miami. They've played Robert Morris. Those are all in the top 20, and they have either split or tied a series with them, or tied a game and won a game. When you add that into the factor, they have taken down some of those top 20 teams. They have a strong potential to win it all. I believe that the Falcons are going all the way. I believe that we will win.
Disagree.
As the soccer motto goes. So I guess we will see what the studio crew has to say about this. Who gets this point, guys? Terry or Katie?
Oh, Katie.
It goes
Absolutely
to me.
Not.
Okay, next question now. Who is men's basketball go-to guy? Who would you pick to be the leading scorer? We were just talking about this earlier.
Easy
He's the
one.
leading man.
It's got to be Rashawn Holmes, Katie. Rashawn Holmes leading the team with over 14 points per game. Rashawn Holmes is the only guy that I want with the basketball in his hands with 30 seconds to go. He is a transfer senior. He's a guy that's been battle tested. He's led the team in scoring for 2 years now. He's the guy that you know you're going to get a big-time bucket out of. Who else on the team? No one else is in double figures. Rashawn Holmes is the only guy
You know
I want
what?
with the ball.
But to counter that, if we look at Javon Clark, he comes off the bench and he averages 9.1 points per game. Yeah, Rashawn Holmes starts and he's averaging 14.1. He's in those double digits. But Javon Clark comes off the bench and he gets those numbers.
But there's a reason he's on the bench in the first place, and Rashawn Holmes is starting the game.
But you need a guy that can come off the bench and score those points. So if you don't have any depth to your team, what are you going to do?
It's
You're
true.
going to lose every game.
It's true, but one guy got to be Holmes.
Oh, man. All right. Terry.
Yes.
Oh, you guys are so
Absolutely
wrong back
right.
there.
Well done, gentlemen.
Okay, moving on. This one's a touchy subject. Does Toledo or Bowling Green have the better athletic program?
Bowling Green. Incredibly biased when I say that, but Bowling Green, and here is why. Yes, Toledo has had the upper hand in football for almost half a decade now, in basketball these last few years. But we have one thing that they do not have. A hockey program. They do not have a hockey program, and that's what gives the Falcons the advantage over UT Athletics.
You know, you mentioned the football. Almost half a decade. That is incredible. Basketball. They just lost in basketball as well. I think the only sport that I can remember Bowling Green winning in has been swim and dive.
But they don't have an entire program, a 6th ranked in the nation program, just off the map. It's not that they're not good, it's that they're not there. Toledo cannot compete with Bowling Green from that aspect alone.
But they compete very well in football. They compete very well in basketball, women's basketball, men's basketball, football, baseball, every other sport they compete in.
They don't have hockey.
They do win. Hockey is not the entire athletic program, though.
But it is a major sport that Bowling Green excels in.
I'm not even going to say anything because Terry gets that point.
Scoreboard.
Wow. Wow, I'm feeling the hate over here. All right, next question now. Is Ohio State really the undisputed champ in college football?
Yes, to all of you Ohio State haters of the world still crying about the results of the national championship, Ohio State proved it. First with a big win over Wisconsin, then the Sugar Bowl win, then the domination of Oregon. Ohio State was clearly the best team in college football this season.
You know what? But you know who you are forgetting? TCU and Baylor. They did not even have a chance. When you take them out of the running and you just throw Ohio State in there, yeah, they're probably going to win. But you did not give TCU or Baylor a chance, and that is not fair. You cannot say that Ohio is undisputed if they did not even have a chance to play TCU or Baylor.
Baylor lost to Michigan State, who Ohio State lost to this year.
That doesn't matter. That's not Ohio State.
TCU has an argument. That is it. Ohio State proved not only by winning big games, dominating big games.
We'll see who gets this point. Katie Wernke. You see that up there?
Unbelievable.
That says Katie Wernke gets that point. All right, last question. This is the tiebreaker. Deflategate. It is all over the news. New England Patriots with the deflated footballs. What should the sanctions be?
Throw the hammer down on the New England Patriots. We've caught them before with Spygate. They lost a first-round pick then. They got caught cheating again. Did it affect the outcome of the game? I don't believe so. But we can't allow the Patriots to keep bending the rules. Take away the whole draft.
Nope.
Take it away.
Stop right there. We can't let the Patriots get away with it. There are other teams in the NFL that cheat all the time, but the eye is on the Patriots because they are good. The sanctions, just fine the team, fine them, maybe take away a draft pick or two. Do not take away their whole draft. Do not even talk about taking them out of the Super Bowl. You are wrong, Terry Lash.
Keep them in the Super Bowl. The Colts don't deserve to be there. Get rid of their draft picks.
Nope.
They can't keep cheating. We cannot stand for this any longer as football fans.
Okay. I have nothing else to say. We'll see what.
Oh, there it is.
Wow. Go ahead and have your speech, Terry. Go ahead and have your speech.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say thank you for voting for me back there in the panel, but it is a big Super Bowl Sunday. It is going to be a highly contested matchup. It has been a very exciting NFL season. Be with friends and family and watch the greatest spectacle in all of sports, NFL Super Bowl Sunday.
You know what? You have your victory, Terry. You laugh now. You'll lose later. Now, when we come back, it is all about the Super Bowl. Me and Terry will give you our picks for the big game on Sunday. Stay with us. Welcome back. As we can see, my pick for the Super Bowl is the Patriots. Terry, I'll let you start this one off.
It's going to be the Seattle Seahawks repeating their Super Bowl title for the first time since your Patriots did it a decade ago. It's going to be the Seahawks because of that defense. We saw how the Patriots offense can be so dynamic in their game against the Colts, but they have not faced the likes of the Legion of Boom of the Seattle secondary. They have been dominant all year long, and I just don't see the Patriots getting past that front.
I don't know, though. We did see the defense of Seattle falter a bit against Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. They didn't do so well against the Packers.
But when it came up clutch, it was the defense there to help them out. Rodgers could not lead that game-winning drive. And also, when you have a quarterback like Russell Wilson, I know Tom Brady is very tested, but Russell Wilson, as a young quarterback, already with a Super Bowl under his belt, playing with worlds of confidence, this team is firing on all cylinders.
I'm going to go with the Patriots. I think the Patriots have that very high-powered offense that it will be very hard for the Seattle defense to stop. When you look at Gronkowski, you have Edelman, Vereen, Blunt. You have so many people that you can count on to score those touchdowns. I mean, they even have another quarterback in Julian Edelman. How can you stop two quarterbacks for the Patriots?
Well, it's with that defense that we talked about, and with Richard Sherman leading the charge. And how are you going to stop Marshawn Lynch if you're that Patriots defense? I don't know.
That is one thing. The Patriots have sort of faltered on the running game. We saw it against the Ravens for sure. But it'll be very interesting to see Richard Sherman. I'm hoping he gets paired up with Rob Gronkowski.
It should be a very exciting Super Bowl, hopefully a lot better than last year, because that was a laugher.
Absolutely. I guess we'll find out on Sunday, though.
We will.
Now, that is all for BG24 Sports today. Follow us on Twitter for breaking scores and news.
And check us out for our website at bg24news.org for more videos. I'm Terry Lash.
And I'm Katie Wernke. Have a great night.
I started saying Facebook. I didn't know they changed it. Check it out on bg24news.org.